Hi guys, Macman here. So yesterday you saw me doing an unboxing of my Autotrickler V4. So what I thought I'd do today is I'm going to get all the parts out ready. I have my A&D scale here, which I've used once just to sort of check against some other scales I've got, just to see what the readings were. So today we're going to set up the Autotrickler onto here. So looking in the kit, we have the top plate, the funnel, the Autotrickler mechanism, we have the powder funnel, we have a couple of lenses, the powder funnel lid, there's a little brush for cleaning, also have a little power supply, a new power supply, a couple of plastic feet, an Allen key, there's this other little wire that comes in the kit, and the instructions. So I bought this from McDonald Innovations, and it took about just over 6 months to come in. And in all fairness, when I ordered this in March, it did tell me my delivery date was going to be December, January. So it came in about a month early, which was great. I didn't pay the deposit on this one. I just put my name down. He sent me an email out to say that my trickler was ready to ship. I paid and he shipped it the following day. Great service. Kept me up to date with everything. So now we're just gonna go through and we're gonna set it up as per the instructions, and I'm gonna set my camera up on a tripod and let's go. Okay, so I got it all set up here. So the first thing it's telling me to do is set the centering tray onto the scale. So we can just remove this quickly. And it wants you to set the center scale. It's saying just inside the raised border of the scale, as the photo. And you can see in the photo it's just showing it just off the raised part of the scale. So we can get this peeled and opened. So just peel off the backing, and then this is going to pop down just onto the scale where it tells us to. There. I pull it off so I can press it down. So that's the first thing it's telling you to do. So we've got that on, and then it's asking you to put the bumpers on. So you've got these little plastic bumpers which they're going to want you to set on the four corners on the bottom of this casing. So let's just flip that over quickly, and you can see from the four corners where they want us to put on. They say it's quite important to put these on because this was what's going to keep everything stable, keep everything level, stop it from moving around. So the second one on. Here's your third, and then the last one going on now, which is on here. So there's the four bumpers on the bottom of the scale. So we have the four bumpers onto the bottom now. So now we can replace the unit back on. So it sits on there. I have got this plastic cover over the the scales that came with it, and I've tried it on and off, and it's the same sort of movement on it, so I don't think that's going to affect it. When I'm running it, I'll know more about it. So it tells you to remove this lid and to remove one front panel from the tool. So I can get rid of those. So you need the 4 back ones on, just need the front one off, so we've got access to the scales. So going as the instructions say. Now it wants us to do the housing placement. So let me just get those over and we will do those next. Okay, so the next step, they say get the lid, and with the 3 bumpers for the unit to sit on, that just sits on the top. There you are, so it sits perfectly there with the 3 bumpers up to accept the trickler, and then it's telling you to install the funnel into the recess on the bottom. There is an O-ring in there, so it just says it'll go into there, and you can just turn it and it'll sit onto the O-ring, and there we go. This then mounts on the little plastic bumpers, so it says just sit it on. So now it's sitting on the 3 plastic bumpers, and it tells you to line up the funnel so it's actually inside the hole but not actually touching anywhere on this top plate. So they just says to centralize it on the buffers, and there you go. It looks like that's just about perfect. Going on then, it says center the rear of the housing panel, which we've done on the back, 2 on the front. The funnel fits through the large hole without touching the panel, which we've got, and verify the housing sits on the 3 bumpers properly and has a slight upward angle relative to the panel. So this, when you look at this down low, it is leaning back just a touch. So that's exactly as per instructions. It says you need the 3 windows here, and also then we have the windows, these windows here, which I believe will just slot down. Slides down into there on the front, and there is also one for the back. So it just goes down into the grooves of the aluminum casing, and that one slides down into there. So these are the front and rear windows installed, and now we're going to go on and do the electrics. Okay, so it says to place the cup on the scales, which we've got in here now. So the cup is in on the scales, and then it's going on to the next section now, which is the electronics, and it says install the serial port connector and plug the scale from the power cord, which we're going to do now. So that's unplugged. We have a cover over the serial port, so we can just pop that off. And then this comes 2 little screws, little hex screws, so we can just pop that on. Just slides in like that, and then we have two little screws in there, which we can just go in. They don't need to go far. It was like just one turn and they were in nice and tight. So it says plug the connector into the scale serial port, which we've done here. Use the screws just to connect and tighten up, And now we connect the Autotrickler up. So we have the lead coming off the serial port and the lead coming off the serial off the powder trickler. Make sure this goes in the right way. It only goes one. It's got the tab on the top which will match up with these tabs here. So we can just pop that in. And that's done. So it's connected there. And then we're going on to the next section where it says identify the correct power adapter. So they sent me out this power adapter which comes with the Autotrickler, and it says if you purchase the scale separately, which I did, this power adapter is no good. Always use the power adapter they've supplied. And it gives you a part number SAW30A, and then this one is, I don't know if you can see that, guys, SAW30A. So this is the correct power adapter to run this unit. So I need to run it around the back here, so let me just do that. I'll switch off for a second while I run the cable. Okay, so I've got the old cable that came with the scale, the original one, removed. They say it's very important to use the cable they supply. It actually does 120 and 240 volts. So we've removed the old one, get rid of that, and then here's the new one, and it says we can just go ahead and plug it in. Okay, so we've got that plugged in. And reading through, it says connect power supply to the bottom of the Autotrickler housing. The scale may drift slightly after being plugged in. There is no need to warm it up. You might have to press re-zero once or twice within the first few seconds. So we can switch that on. Okay, so that looks like it's all up and running and set. And then it says about the powder hopper. So with the powder hopper, it has actually got, you can turn this here, so you can actually have the hopper open and closed. So this is great. So you can close this off, remove the hopper, and get your powder out. So it says make sure the hopper is closed, which we've got. And then we can just sit it on the unit. Let's pull this forward just a little bit. Not the wrong way around. So this just sits in on the unit like this. And once it's on there, you can turn this left and right to open and close the hopper window. So at the moment the hopper is closed, which they want you to do. Okay, so we have the hopper installed, everything's ready, and they say make sure that this front window and back window is installed before adding any powder. And it says on these windows as well, it's got a squared off bottom and a curved corners, and it says make sure the curved corners are to the top, so it cuts off everything at the bottom. I have my pan installed, and then it says once you've done that and the powder hopper is on, the powder hopper is closed, we can add some powder. This is just some powder I got on the bench just to play about with today, so we can just put some of this in here. Okay, get the powder in there. And it says then rotate the hopper to open the valve, and once it's open, we can now turn this to open up the valve, and it says the powder will fill the back chamber, which you can see is just done. So now let me just turn this back around, and now it's time to do the settings. So it says pour the powder in the hopper. Powder will fill the area to the back of the housing, which is already done. Turn over the page, and now we've got serial port configuration. So it gives us the way to set everything up. So we're going to go through that, and we'll do that now. So let me just move the camera. Okay, so now we're going to follow these instructions, and it's telling you the scale must be configured to send data correctly over the serial port. This only needs to be done once. The settings are permanently stored within the scale. This will not affect normal way in operation of the scale. So it's telling us we need to do this BAS FNC to SPD2. So to set the refresh rate to 20 times per second, press and hold the sample button, and then it brings up BAS FNC displayed. Press print to select the setting. So press print. And it's telling us then press print to select the setting. Press sample button repeatedly until SPD is displayed. So SPD B is displayed. Press raise 0 repeatedly until 2 is displayed. So we can hit the raise 0 button. We've got the number 2. Press print to set the value. And press Cal to exit the menu. Okay, so that's the first piece done. And now it says set the print key to wait for stable readings. Press and hold the sample button in the menu. Press sample repeatedly until doubt is displayed. Doubt is displayed. Press print to select the settings. And then press 0 repeatedly until 5 is displayed. So we need a 5 in here, which is already in there, and then press print to set values. And press Cal to exit menu. And there you go. And now the next one is set the serial port baud rate to 1920, which is the next thing we need to do. Press and hold sample button again, and then hit sample repeatedly until SIF is displayed. SIF, hit the print, and until BPS is displayed. And we need 5 displayed, and it's already flashing at 5, so we're good to go. Hit print to set the values, and Cal to get out. On to the next section. Again, we need to hit, we're going to do these next 2 now. So hit and hold sample, and now we need to go through and find, sample to find SIF. Again is displayed, and press print, and we're looking for BTPR, so we'll hit print again. No, that one's not coming up this time. Let's get out and try that again. Okay, so we're back. So we need to find, we find BTPR displayed, and we need 2, and it's already flashing on 2, so we can hit print and then Cal to exit unit. And then we have response equals fast, set the wait response rate to fast. Press and hold mode until response is displayed. So this time we're going to hit mode, response, until fast is displayed. Fast is flashing in there, and then press print to confirm, and then Cal to exit. Okay, so it looks like we're on fast response there. So those are the first 5. Okay, now it's telling us to install the app on the phone. So let me go and have a look. Okay, so I put in Autotrickler, search, and it's come up with the Autotrickler app. And then we can just hit get. Adam McDonald, that's the guy that I bought this from, so we know it's the right app. We can go get, and we let that go through. Okay, once that's loaded, we'll come back. Okay, so I've got that downloaded on there, and it says Autotricker would like to use your Bluetooth. Obviously we're gonna have to go OK there. And then it says tap scan and press connect when the button appears. It looks like it's already done it. It's gone into there. If you see the Autotrickler not found, see troubleshooter. Obviously we know all that. Test run the motors. Ensure the cap is in place. Sorry, the cup is in place. Press fast or slow to verify each tube spin. So I'm looking at my app here, so we can hit fast. Stop that. So that one's working fine. Let me just do that again. Let me just switch this up. Okay, so we can go in and hit fast. And it's turning and dropping. We can hit stop. And then we can hit slow. And then the other side is turning. Just wait for the powder to come through. So we're having no powder at the moment. Let me just see what's going on with that. Just bear with me. Okay, now the trickler is beginning to work, and you can see on the scale 3.526, 7, 8. So it's dropping basically a grain at the time. And that seems to be working. So now we can go in and hit stop. Okay, let's carry on saying. So hit fast and slow, which we've done to verify both tubes are spinning. Set the speed slider to 5, the default position. Speed slider to 5. That is already set at 5, so we don't need to touch that. Over the next page, scan or start stop automatically dispensing. I'm just reading through. Guys, I'm doing this as we're doing the video. I haven't gone through any of this before, so there's the next lot of instructions that they want me to do. So let me just have a quick reader through there, and we'll come back and do the next. Okay, so pretty much both powder dispensers are now full. The trickler's full, the main one's full, and with the app you can actually go in and do all your settings. So at the moment I've zeroed it out, it's set on grains, and then we can go in and say 32.4 grains we want to drop of this thing. Hit target, and then it starts. You can see the main one is going. This is jumping up, it's gone to 30. Okay guys, sorry, my battery went dead on my GoPro, so I've just had to charge and come back to it. So we talked about downloading the app, so I've downloaded the app onto the phone, and I watched a couple of videos on this and read the instructions. So what they're saying is you put your pot in, and then you can zero it. And the first thing you want to do, you want to calibrate. So you can go in, hit the calibrate button, and it goes through, and it's running the kernels through the large tube first, which is the larger amount. So it's setting that up, and then it'll stop and it goes on to the smaller kernels coming out through the smaller tube for the finer drops. What they tell you to do is level your machine and calibrate it and run it to make sure that you're at the right settings. So at the moment it's just doing, like I said, doing the calibration at the moment. It's going through the small kernels. Slow down again now, so it's going really slow now. Just waiting for that to stop. And I've switched over to H1000 because this is what I use in all my larger rifles, my precision rifles. So I was using WSF earlier just to play with it, but I've gone over onto these now, which is what this machine is going to be using. So there you are. It's set, it's calibrated, and then if you hit settings, it tells you here on the small tube you want to be between 0.1 and 0.2. So we're at 0.14, so we're in the middle of the range for the speed. So that's pretty much where we need to be, going by the instructions and everything. I've got this set up at 10 here. I need to slow that down a little bit. It doesn't need to be running at 10. So we're going to set that at 6, 5 or 6 is fine. So I'm going to just take this out, dump the powder. So we're empty, so we can pop that in. Comes back to 0. And then on the scale we can put in 45.8 and just hit, and then it goes, the main kernels come out of the one first and then it switches over onto the small one. So it's going up through it, 45.6, 7, 45.86, and again these are quite large kernels coming out. So that last drop on it is quite slow. So it's leveled out there. This should be running between plus or minus 0.02 in the specs. So we're floating between 86 and 82. So let's pull that one out, drop it back. As soon as we put it back on, it'll start again. So we set it at 45.8. Now we're running here. And this time it just went over by one kernel, 45.84. So we're just over. So we can dump it and we can try again. So this time it's running. So at 45.82, and there you go, 45.82. We set it at 45.8, so that's your plus or minus 0.2. So this time we're going to turn it off. You can just tap, pull this out, dump the powder, pop this back in, and this time I'm going to set it at 81 grains. Hit the target button and off she goes. So when you're changing your grain sizes, you don't need to recalibrate it. They say you need to recalibrate if you move your machine around or if you're changing powders. But once you've got it set and it's set to the level and your speeds are right, excuse me, and your speeds are right, it should be good to go. So we're at 80.94, 81.00. So that one came out smack on. Let's just run one more. So again, it should be 81 grains. So the first one comes in, drops, and then the second one comes on, and we're at 80.92, 94. I hope you can see these readouts on the camera. I think I got everything set up okay. There you go, 81.00, absolutely smack on that one. I'm going to switch that off. We're going to do one more. Let's just go in, dump that powder, pop that back on, and let's just pick 56.4. 56.4, hit the target button, and off it goes. So we're at 56.36, 38, 56.40, and I want it at 56.4. Again, spot on. Let's pull that one out. Let's just do one more at that weight. So far guys, this machine is absolutely awesome. It went together fairly easily. Sorry, it was a bit stop-start. It was like I said, I had to keep turning the camera on and off while I was doing stuff. But I just wanted to show you the setup, how easy this setup was. And I think they're about 6 months. You can order these, and I think they're around about 6 months wait on them at the moment. The same as everything. Everything's got a wait. Doesn't matter what you want to buy. But so I've set it up. I've run it. I played with it a little bit, trying to get used to the app. But first impressions, what a superb bit of machinery. And I think this is going to take my precision loading to the next level. It's a huge investment, but so far it seems to be working really well. So we're sitting at 56.36. We're just waiting for that last kernel to drop, and it drops 2. So obviously we went over a little bit on that one, but most of the time it's dropping within the specs. But again, these are large kernels that I'm using. The smaller kernels are going to drop a lot finer, probably be a little bit more precise. But we'll just run this last one now and see how that goes. 56.3, it slowed right down, so it's just dropping that single kernel at a time. 0.34. I don't know if you can see it on the screen here, but it is just turning slowly and dropping that single kernel at a time. And 56.40, 56.4, so absolutely smack on. So I'm going to switch that off, dump this powder back in here. So as you can see, there's a setup, guys. A really nice scale. It all works through the app. It's easy to set up. It's easy to use through the app. You can still see I'm running the small tube at 0.14, which is in the middle of the range where they want you to run it. You've got all these different, it's easy to change the settings, to change the weight, just 56.2. No, I want to go 85.4. And it's easy. The app works 56.9. You hit that and off it goes. It's as simple as that. So I hope you like this review, guys. Sorry it wasn't the best. It's like I said, I don't often have to stop and start so much, but with the build of this machine it took a little bit longer to do. But hopefully it gives you some good information. It's easy to set up. It's a superb machine. It's nice and accurate. It's giving you consistency on your drops. And if you like the video, guys, just like, share, subscribe. I'm heading towards my 400 subs. As soon as I hit that, I'll be giving away a nice prize. I got one of these out the front spring assisted knives to give away, so that's going to be my 400 sub prize. So please come in and sub, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next.